Good evening to all. My voice is audible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to IEDA National Level 3-Day Skill Enhancement Training Program on cracking interview, public speaking, and personality development. Let's move on to the session. So, with great pleasure, I invite you, ma'am, kindly take over the session.
Yeah. Am I audible, ma'am? Okay. Just give me a moment to share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is also visible. Okay. Good evening to everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in the second session. And today we're going to talk about personality development. And the last session, that's tomorrow, we'll be talking about tips and techniques to crack interviews successfully. So I hope you all remember the previous session, the points that we discussed during that session, public speaking skills. And today also there'll be few things that I'll be repeating because as I've told you in the first session itself, all the three topics are very much interconnected because speaking skill is definitely a part of personality development, and doing well in both public speaking and personality development is something that's going to go a long way in giving you a good career, good job, and landing in the dream job that you have been, or doing well. If you're already working, if you're already in your career trajectory, it's going to help you advance yourself in that. So that's one thing that I want to remind all of you. And having said this, let me start today's session. So as you all know, we are focusing on personality development. So the word personality itself has the word person, right? So that means it's all about you as a person. So it's not that we can say a person is completely developed. Yeah, we know we are all adults. We are not children. We know everything. We have been through life. We have been through a lot of experiences. But then the development of ourselves, both the inner and the outer self, physical, spiritual, emotional, everything keeps happening throughout our life. The progress or the journey doesn't stop. So as you know, no, even for learning, they say till the end of your life, till the last day, you can keep learning. There's nothing you can say that, yes, I've developed, I've acquired all the skills, I'm done with everything, I know everything. Definitely no. People who are great thinkers, public intellectuals, who are considered to be the most talented, intelligent people also say this with a lot of humility that they are still yet to learn. I think there's one quote which I think I remember now. It says, the more you learn, the more you come to know that only little of it you really know. So the more and more you start traveling in the learning journey, you will realize how little you have known. And there's no end to the exploration. And I think this is what keeps our life more interesting. This is what keeps us more adventurous. Because the moment when you think you're developed completely, you know everything, life becomes dull, we don't have anything to do. Only when you have this quest to keep moving on, to keep exploring, to stumble on interesting things that can help to develop yourself, basically the self progress I'm talking about. So personality, the person, it talks about the development of the person in you, who you are as a person, and what you really do as a person, how it impacts the people around you. And as we know, we are not living in an isolated world. Human beings are social animals. We are connected. We network. We collaborate. We move with a lot of people in different spheres of the world, whether it is personal sphere or it's professional or spiritual. Wherever you go, you become a part of a community. You form networks, friendships, relationships. You reach out to people. People reach out to you. So constantly, we are in this web of communication. Constantly, we are in this interconnected web where we need to be dealing with people. We can't really say that no, I don't want. I mean, I can't deal with people at all. Sometimes it's very difficult journey where we have to deal with tough people. Sometimes it's easy because things work out the way we want. But whatever it is, the uncertainty that life holds in front of us, personality, keeping our personal selves developed, prepared for the challenges that is going to come ahead in life, is the need of the hour. So here I put the definition. Personality is not just about how you look or how we speak. Mostly there's a wrong notion that personality means it's immediately it's assigned to the physical appearance. Of course, the way we carry ourselves, the grooming, everything matters, the way we represent ourselves. But it's not just how we look or how we speak, but also a lot of things that goes inside us. Remember, what goes inside you is what really is being reflected at the outside, right? Your thoughts, the behavior, your attitude, your emotions, actions, everything is what is reflecting. I mean, it starts coming out. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself is a part of the belief system that you carry, is a part of your attitude, is a part of the way you manage your emotions, right? So everything of this contributes for your personality. And it's very important that no matter whichever stage of life you are in, you might be a student, or you might be a faculty member, or you might be in any other career not related to academics at all. But still, you need to focus on who you are at every stage of your life. Remember, we are living in a very demanding time. Probably 5 years back, if someone says that, that they've acquired a lot of knowledge, they feel that in their particular field, they are an expert, but that doesn't mean that they should stop learning or they should stop noticing the trend and just say, yes, I'm done. They should be constantly upgrading themselves, because new things keep coming up every day. So what you had 5 years back, probably if someone has completed PhD, I completed in the year 2021. I submitted my thesis, but by the time my Viva happened after a long process of evaluation, it became 2023. So it's almost going to be 3 years. But then when I finished my PhD at that time, I felt it's end of my academic career. I'm done. There's no other degree, or, there's nothing that I could do more. But today, with a lot of humbleness, I can agree that there's so much that I haven't, focused, and I have more time to explore all that. And I've been growing in many ways. And that makes it all the more satisfying and all the more adventurous for me in my academic journey. Similarly, in your respective career paths, you might have learned something which would have made you felt that, yes, I'm completely thorough with this, I'm done with this, I've mastered all the things that's needed for my job or for my subject or for my particular course. But then, even for my students, I used to tell them, it's not just enough if you do well in your exams, top the class, if you're ambitious, you just done with your books, your studies, your semester. You need to branch out. You need to see what's happening around you, participate in events, in interdepartmental events, intercollegiate events, see what's happening with people of your age, other college students, what they're doing. Are they coming up with any interesting ideas? Or if there's any startup they're a part of, are they coming up with pitching any new ideas? So I keep asking them to look out, not just be confined to a particular setup. Mostly students are happy that if they just clear the semester, if you just get the degree, that's enough. I always used to tell my students, don't think this is enough. In your college, you just started the MA degree, or a MPhil, or a BA, whatever degree that you're starting, even your engineering. Don't think that just getting this degree as a certificate is end of my journey here in college. No, because everyone is going to come with a degree. People who are at your age, when they enter into the job market is wide. It's not only for your college, it's open to the entire city probably. And there'll be a lot of competition. Everyone is just going to walk inside with the same degree certificate. So what is the difference that you're going to make? So if two, three people, or even for 10 people are interviewed at the same time for the same degree, then what are you having? What are the add-ons, additional qualification? What are the skill sets that you possess that will make you different, that will make you stand out, that will give you the highest chances for you to secure that job? So this is something which will always ask you to think that whether you are unique, whether you are noticed, whether you are the person people would want to have in their organization, would want to, probably, even if you want to pursue your higher studies, I used to tell them, there are limited number of seats, right? So as the study level keeps progressing, so for every individual, there should be a sense of, they should have a goal, and they should always enter into that particular sphere, whichever they are passionate about, of course, to make a difference, to stand out, not just be enough and settle down with the basic minimum or any mediocre levels, is what I keep pushing my students to do. And it's not just for students. Personally, I've been doing that in my journey. When I started out as a speaker, I think in the year 2024, June, I still remember I did my first session. That's going to be like not even 2 years. But then I had given a lot of speeches in between, but then properly I started just entering into this and exploring. And now, if I look back, a lot of things that I've learned, I mean, every session that I take, more than sharing my knowledge, I've learned a lot while researching for that, while, picking the points or explaining it. It's more of a self assessment for me. I look back and see whether I'm also following the points. Of course, I try my best to do, but then it gives me a lot of time to reflect and see how far I've been progressing as a speaker, as someone who's helping out academicians, as someone who's helping out students, as someone who's mentoring them, guiding them. So definitely there's a lot of learning journey for me, learning experience for me. And it's gratifying to even talk about this because I'm blessed to do something which I'm passionate about. And every time I do a session, I take back a lot, not just, that session's content alone, the lot of questions you people ask probably at the end. It opens a lot of perspectives for me. It helps me to connect and relate things. So yeah, in simple words, personality is your identity in action, right? So what is your identity? You have a name, you have a, I mean, like, it's not that you are among everyone, you stand out to be a different person. You have a name in the sense you are an individual and you are not like anyone else. You're not like some other person, right? You have your own skill sets, the way you look, everything is different, right? So that's one thing that puts you apart. So now in our skill enhancement program, even why these webinars are being conducted is also one of the reasons to check whether how far you're progressing in developing yourself. I'll put the self in quotes to emphasize that you need to always stop and look inside. The inward glance is very important. In a world where we are conditioned to constantly keep looking outward, working with people, we are always so much into, I mean, a lot of time constraint is there, but we know technology is consuming our time. Overload of content in our phone, laptop, or even in our work setup, it's always demanding, and we always keep engaging with people, engaging with technology. But how far do we engage with our own self? How far the self reflection happens? Do we pause? Do we do any activity that will connect us with our own self? There's something that I want to, ask you people. It's not that for me to understand what you're doing, not no need to answer this, but then probably ask this question to your own self. I'll be sharing my own experiences. That's the way I deal with sessions. It's not that I'm here to just talk about content which is available, but the experiences which I'm sharing is what is going to make it more relatable and humanistic, right? So I do journaling. I write my, the things that happen, at least not on a daily basis, at least weekly, thrice or four times. I pick up my journal and I start writing with how things went for me that particular week. What did I do? Probably I'll end up even writing about this webinar, like how it went and all. So might sound very simple, but then I feel it's a way to connect with my own self, to build this positive energy. Probably looking after a week, seeing my journal, I feel that quite a lot number of tasks have been completed successfully. It gives me my energy level is high when I see that. It's not that every week I'm productive like this. There are certain weeks and even months I don't get to do anything. I'm into other areas of work, and my personal, my family also, demands time from me. I have a toddler, I need to give attention to him. So all this is there. It's not that I'm always into the academic space. But then whatever it is, I just put it in words to develop gratitude. When I read that, I feel, yes, I am in a pathway. I'm making some sense in my life. I'm trying to connect with my own self. This is just a way of me connecting with my inner self. So probably people in this participants here, you might have one way or the other, which you feel, even doing a creative work. I used to do calligraphy. I still do that. So probably doing something with your hand, giving a creative, opening the creative faculty, giving some work to your hand, and ensuring that you make something with your art or craft, which will really give you a sense of satisfaction and pleasure. So happiness, not that people should know or not that it should be really great, but you love doing it, showing some love for yourself. So all these little things are very important. You must pause to see where your self is actually going towards. Sometimes we forget that the self even exists because we are constantly playing different roles. It's not just, for example, I'm not just a facilitator. I'm also a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister. Like that, each of us have multiple roles to play. And I think most stress comes out of balancing this role along with the whole arena of work pressure that is really, getting tough these days. And I would really say, yes, it's not at all easy to be an academician in this demanding and pressing times. It's not just teaching alone. We know what else we do. We know the paperwork we do. We know what else we really manage apart from, teaching students. It's not at all easy. And I've conducted webinars where I speak about well-being, mental well-being of teachers, of people who are in the teaching profession. I think I've done 2 to 3 sessions on that earlier. So that's when even I realized how many times I went through burnout, and even people go through the same thing, because we're all so, caught up in teaching our students, making sure they develop, they get the marks. Sometimes we miss out on our own selves, right? In this path, we stop learning. We no more focus on ourselves. There are issues that happening, and these things keep building up, and only towards the end we feel that we are drained and exhausted. A continuous personality development check will also ensure that we don't end up, they're giving our essential time, managing time, and not ending up facing challenges because of stressful situation. I'll be focusing on that as we keep moving ahead. So personality development, yes, it refers to the process of enhancing and grooming one's inner and outer self. It's not just the outside appearance, the grooming part, or the way you carry yourself, or the way people know whom you are. It's also the inner self. Remember, the inner self is not visible to everyone, right? A person might look very well dressed up, might look that they are really active throughout the day, but then the inner self might be demanding a lot of rest time. They might be exhausting their all their energy. They might be going through a severe burnout and draining out phase. But then people, while looking at them, it's not visible, it's not seen, right? The inner self is the self which might be known only to you. Probably any loved ones of your family close to your circle will find out, if they're really close with you. But other than that, only you can know what kind of emotion that you're going through, what kind of feelings that you're feeling difficult to process certain feelings or emotions in you, right? The inner self is as important as the outer self, and balancing the well-being of both your inner self and outer self is really important for personality development. So many times in different sessions that I've handled, or I've seen few sessions where personality development is focused only on your body language, communication skills, all these things. Yes, yes, that's important. Of course, when you go for a working environment, or when you go for your in the environment where we function, especially our jobs, no one really focuses on our inner self, right? We want to be dressed up. We want to know that we are representing a brand, a company, or an institution. No one really bothers about our mental health or the inner self. It's just the outer self, how much you work, the output that you give. But then the neglection which happens, slowly, when you're neglecting the inner self, it can't be taken for a long term. It will start impacting the outer self. We can't say that our physical self or the emotional self is completely disconnected. It is connected. The emotional self, the inner self, if it is not being treated properly, if it's not being focused or developed, if it's not given the care and attention, then it'll impact your outer self as well. And then it'll be really a long time, or it'll be too late to even figure out what is going wrong. And it'll end up in a crash where no longer you'll be able to go ahead. And that's why personality development is very important, where you focus not just on your physical well-being, but also your emotional well-being, on your overall holistic development of you as a person. Again, the points here: improving your skills, communication skills. We saw about it even in the previous session. Confidence. I think I spoke a lot about it in the public speaking skill, not just for speaking, generally. A confident person is the person who would be considered as with a high personality, with an excellent personality. Someone who's shy, anxious, nervous. No, then it doesn't give look, or it doesn't give that proper positive look of having a good personality, right? Because confidently you share your thoughts, you speak, and also you're very confident in the way you carry yourself, in the dress, the attire that you wear, the way you communicate, everything. You show that confidence level. Yes, then people are attracted to you. You are a person of good good personality, I would say, and people will be ready to hire you. You will be a person of productivity. Enhancing emotional intelligence, that's also equally important. Your the way you deal with your emotions, the way you carry yourself throughout the day, how you deal with your inner self, basically. Developing a positive attitude, cultivating certain disciplines and values. It might look very didactic as I'm saying discipline, value. It might look that as though a teacher is telling this, but then no, we all of us have to have certain routine, I would say, which we follow every day for our development as a person. And that routine has to be followed with proper discipline. And I understand no one really breaks the routine willingly. It's like we are struggling to prioritize certain things in our life. And if we are in a demanding job, it all the more becomes difficult. So we immediately compromise with the personal time. I know my colleagues who really into teaching profession. They struggle with a lot of health issues because they don't really take care of the food that they eat. The balanced diet is missing, or exercise, not hitting the gym, not exercising their body. All this really creates a problem for them. But then, if they really want to start an out an habit, for example, trying to start the exercise regularly, that they really doesn't happen on a consistent level because a lot of workload, then the priorities change, lack of time management, and they end up giving that particular routine and they say that, no, I don't have time. Where else can I find time? I have other work. And again, they move on with the same health issues. These things are completely untreated, and then it doesn't give them that kind of productivity or happiness as they move ahead, even in their career. So, all these things have to be taken into account. Why personality development? Why are we even dealing with this particular topic? Because it's something that should give you confidence. A strong personality, a good personality gives you the courage to face challenges and speak your mind. And today, we find people struggling to embrace challenges, embrace changes. We want life without challenges. Even students are struggling with the workload. I feel that we are struggling with the workload as teachers or as people in different career. Students are struggling with the learning process itself, although it's made much easy with the advent of technology. Even a small challenge is considered as something very arduous. They're not able to overcome that. Probably we are all hardwired to take the help, too much help of technology and easily travel. Always take the road which is less traveled, I would say, and not prefer the road which is going to give you a lot of learning lessons and adventure. So it's always the easy way out. And also, we are living in a time where everything needs instant improvement, instant result, right? People are really hardwired. They are accustomed to that kind of a mindset where everything they would want to happen it in a quick time, no gradual improvement, or they don't really wait for things to take time, right? But certain things do take time. As I even told you about public speaking skills, when you do something consistently, at least 3 months, 6 months, right? The change at when you do things consistently, remember, not just on and off, right? Building your strong routine. So even when you, after I share these tips with you all, probably then you start inculcating all this. You can't see an improvement tomorrow itself, which is not possible. Or you shouldn't be in a hurry at all. Probably when you do this consistently, you enjoy doing it, you love giving time for yourself. And it's not easy at all, I'm telling you. When, especially, I think for women, it's the toughest task because we need to play a lot of other roles also. Emotional labor that we carry is like too much, I would say. So taking time for our own self and trying to do something to improve ourselves is like very Herculean task. Even taking 15 or 20 minutes, we would think that we can do something for the family or complete our work or something like that. That way we compare and push the task aside. But then these small neglecting attitude is what is going to cost a lot in the long run. So when we see successful people who are able to manage their career, family, everything, it's because they're able to cull out that 1 hour or 45 minutes for their own self improvement. And that reflects on their personality development. That reflects on the person who they are, probably working on their language skill, speaking skill, or working on their soft skill, building their confidence, building their energy, building their healthy body, mind. So whatever they do in that particular 1 hour of their me time, self improvement time, whatever you want to name it, that is what is going to bring the difference in their personality. Yes, that's one thing. Yeah, even building confidence, right? So people who struggle with that kind of an issue, I think even students for this matter, apart from just focusing on their studies, their exams, their semesters, what do they really do to build their skills? How much time do they give on a daily basis to build their skills? That's very important. And that will reflect on their personality development. Improving communication, yes, expressing your ideas clearly and effectively matters a lot. Someone who's very confident with their language usage, someone who's very confident in the way they share their ideas and their thoughts in a convincing, persuasive manner, they're clear about their ideas, they will communicate properly. And people who communicate efficiently or properly are going to attract a lot of opportunities and a lot of people. So their networking, their collaborations keep building, their circle keeps expanding. So that's what is going to happen. These are the uh, positive effects of building a strong personality. creates positive first impression. And this is also going to help you in the large run if you see for your interview also. So what I'm really talking about is also leading to the next session, because a person with a strong personality will obviously be hired, will obviously be preferred to probably any other person who's competing for that particular opportunity. So that's one thing even students have to keep in mind. Uh, People often judge us within seconds. A good personality helps create a lasting impact. So, how fearlessly you walk inside an interview room, how you carry yourself, the way you do everything, people quickly judge, right? There's one quote which says, "You never get a second chance to make your first impression." In the sense, the impression that you make, people, the way they look at you, I think 50% of it, I mean, they get they have ideas in their mind. And then when you start talking, your body language, the way you communicate, your eye contact, the rest of the 50%, yes. So once you start this kind of a confident communication, and once you start showing yourself as a strong personality, as a strong man or a strong woman, then you will see how opportunities will start aligning, will fall on your path, and you will never settle down for just the opportunity. Once you get the opportunity, you will start excelling. And as I keep emphasizing on that, probably if a task is given to you, even as students, if you're given a project, you will not just complete it for the sake of completion, you're going to give your best. And when you give your best, when you excel, you will be noticed, you will stand out, you will be unique. And when you are noticed, when you stand out, huge better opportunities are going to come. Probably the person who's hired you is going to trust you with bigger projects, with bigger tasks, promotions. All this will keep following up, and your presence, your social media presence will be noticed. And that's when slowly you build up, you go up to a level where you start influencing people through your speech, through your action, through your mere presence. You'll start influencing, you'll start inspiring. Probably you might be just a teacher or a lecturer, but still through your lectures, through the way you deal with your students, you'll be inspiring them. Not to just learn lessons from the text, from the syllabus, but beyond that, life lessons can be learned from the class, is what I believe. And yes, if this is in academics I'm talking about. Also, students who try to excel, who try to follow the same path, will definitely not just clear the degree with just, probably if they want to do a good job and just get top the class, not just with the academic part alone, but there are many other non-academic elements that they will start mastering. And apart from academics, or the test scores that the company would be watching for them to hire, these are the other things that would really promote them to get a job, really help them to get the dream job that students have been thinking about while they start their journey in college. Leadership skills. Yes, I mean, the last session also I was mentioning about this. Public speaking is connected to leadership. Yes, leaders are not born, they're made through personality development. And Abdul Kalam, yes, his humility, vision, discipline, a beloved leader. So the more you learn is when you start becoming more humble. The modesty starts coming in. From my own personal experiences, I've seen people who are public intellectuals, who are great minds, I would say, whom I have admired. I think they are the most approachable people, the most kind people, and most empathetic people I've ever seen. And there are people I've also dealt with who don't know as much as others, or they just have half knowledge. But the way they, create an environment around them, I feel that, they're never approachable. They feel that they have this all know attitude without actually knowing everything. Personally, I know lecturers like that. I've worked with people like that. But, the knowledge, when more knowledge, you start acquiring a lot of knowledge, you also start acquiring a lot of humility, a lot of humbleness, because you keep moving ahead in learning experience. You consider yourself as a learner. You consider yourself as a lifelong student, not as a teacher who's come to a position, I'm only to teach, not to learn. So every situation life brings you in, every challenge life throws you, you start answering, you start asking the question, what does this teach me? Even at times of challenging situation, what am I going to learn? What is the situation trying to teach me? So you're always willing to learn. The thirst to learn is there. And that's what, puts your ground. It makes you feel grounded. So I've just put his example here because he's also my favorite leader, someone who loves teaching and someone who knows. I mean, knowledge I can't even talk about. I would listen to his speech, but then the way he connects with people, the personality that he shows. I think being humble is really important. Being kind and approachable is really important to connect with people. No one really prefers someone who's with high attitude, who's not polite, who doesn't reach out or is not humble. No one really wants to connect with such kind of people. You should be open minded. You should be warm and welcoming to have people in your life. And of course, there are times you might be getting hurt. There are exceptions, but you should be shrewd enough to master those kind of techniques that will help you to deal with difficult people. When I used to work in organizational setups, I could see that some people would avoid working with few of them, saying that they're very tough. I can't work with them in this particular project. I can't. Even students used to say that. There used to be groupisms in class where if I ask them to form groups, they'll only be working with their friends. I think many teachers would be able to relate to what I'm saying. But I used to force them and shuffle the groups because you should be ready to work with anyone. It's not that when you start working in an organization, you can't really make friends or just choose the people you want to work with. No matter however difficult it is, the more difficult people come into your circle, it's the more learning experience for you. So that's how you need to see such kind of challenging situation. Helps in career growth. Yes, personality comes in a huge, long way to help you grow in your career and also secure, developmental pathways will open, promotions. Apart from promotions, you'll be noticed and you will become an expert. You'll start becoming an expert in your area. So not just technical skills alone, which can always be learned, soft skills also matter equally. Usually, soft skill is underrated. It's only the technology, how much you know probably to use something, use a device or something. Apart from that, how much you know, because technical skills will help you to deal with the gadget. Probably it will give you the know-hows or the nitty-gritties to deal with a particular program or particular coding or whatever related to technology. But then soft skill is what is going to empower you to deal with the people. So dealing with technology can be learned easily, but dealing with people, yes, that's tough, because I think as teachers, you can again relate to how far you would have, felt really difficult in dealing with like 100 plus students at a time, each one with different energy level, each one with their own strength and weakness. That's when we are really put into testing times, right? And that's when skills like this really empowers us, really helps us to go in a long way in acquiring that kind of a personality. The key components of personality development: self-awareness. So when you want to focus on your personality development, you should be aware of your own self. Because before you start dealing with people around you, before you start dealing with, difficult people, or you have to deal with people, there's no escape from that. But then even before you deal with the people, you should deal with your own self first. Are you aware of your own self? So we have the SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. So do you know what's your strength, what's your weakness, what do you have to develop, where do you stand, where do you, this kind of self assessment should happen. And probably attending sessions like this will let you know how far you have developed and what needs a lot of attention. Accepting yourself with confidence and reflecting yourself the way you are. You work on things that can be changed, you work on things that can be developed, and progress can be attained. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, because when you know where you really stand in terms of your personal or professional or your spiritual, whichever realms you are in, then there's a huge scope for improvement. Positive attitude. Definitely a positive mindset is what will come help you in the long run to overcome failures. So very classic example, Thomas Alva Edison failing 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. I'm just saying this is very easy to even talk about, but going through it, it's the toughest phase. I think students face this, even people who are in the teaching profession, no matter whichever profession you are, there are failures. There are times we go through challenging environments and we feel that it's only failure. It's a lot of negative atmosphere keeps coming in, and this sometimes really impacts our mental health. But then we need to keep on building a positive attitude. And when you start looking at your inner self and see there's definitely a divine energy, I think an inbuilt energy. I believe that, creations are with given that inbuilt energy, and we need to discover that energy which is going to help you throughout your life in handling this situation. For that, positive mindset is definitely important. Confidence. I think I've spoken about this a lot. Confidence in your own self, in your own abilities and work matters a lot. It encourages you to take risk and face challenges. See, people who want to lead an extraordinary life, people who are leading extraordinary lives, are people who also face extraordinary challenges. This is sometimes I see people settle down with a mediocre level. They settle down just for the normal. They say, "Yeah, this is what I can do. I don't want to achieve more than this. I'm done." Even with students, I've seen this mindset. If I just pass in the exam, it's enough, ma'am. If I just get the bare minimum, it's enough. And a very less number of students would want to push the boundaries, would want to see themselves competing with their own self and see how much they can actually achieve. So this is mindset that should actually start being developing from, I think, in school days itself. But then it's fine. The moment we realize that we want to do something, not just for others to appreciate us, not just for people to notice, yes, that all is going to help us for our career opportunities, so on and so forth, just for our own satisfaction. Yes, I never thought I could do this, but then only after doing, I know that I was able to do this. And what kind of happiness that's going to give you? You never knew you would be able to overcome the challenge in your life unless you really faced the challenge. You went through the tough time. When you came out of it, when you were able to overcome, then only you understood you had some strength or power. I think this can be even the physical strength a woman would possess, especially in time of delivering a baby. She wouldn't have even thought of going through that much pain from her lifetime. I'm just giving an example. And only after becoming a mother, delivering the child, she would know how much pain that she even went through to give birth. And so, most of the mothers would say, I never knew that I could just do that. It was so painful, yet I had that, strength to bear that pain, because that's the situation we are put in. So unless you put yourself in a tougher situation, you come out of the comfort zone, you never really know what you are capable of doing. That's the only line that I want to put here. If you really want to know your efficiency, you really want to know what are the skills you have, how can you improve, you need to try hard. You need to come out of that zone of comfort. Sometimes I think one of my, somewhere I heard this, I think in a conversation or some speech that I was listening, the speaker was telling that if she feels that her life is going peacefully, without any changes, she's worried that she's in the comfort zone, because it should feel that, you are always trying to do something hard to learn something new. So that's always there. It's not that it should be always in pain or always in a hurry to be productive. No, you need to take rest. You need to give some time for relaxation for your body and mind. But still, you should always be in a path to progress. Perfection. I'm not telling about anything about perfection here. That will obviously come, but progress is more important. You should keep moving, not running ahead, not racing, but then move ahead in your own path, in your own time. And your inner self should know that you're going ahead, right? Reducing the fear of failure, because again, failure you will take as an opportunity to learn, makes you more assertive and independent. When you become a strong personality and you develop through a lot of achievements, preparation, positive thinking, and failure is also a part of this. Not that we succeed every time, right? So even failure should be taken as a learning lesson, and you should continue going. Sometimes even students stop after they fail. The failure brings them a lot of heartbreak, emotional pain, and they just keep a full stop. Here, I'm asking you people to move ahead in spite of failure, remembering that no one can just have a easy cakewalk in this world. Everyone struggles. And as I'm repeating myself, extraordinary lives demand extraordinary challenges. And if life is just one life that you're getting, why don't you lead it in an extraordinary way, not just settle for ordinary? Emotional intelligence, very, very important component of personality development. It's nothing but the ability to understand and manage your emotion, which might look very easy in the words that I've put, but is the most toughest thing. And as a teacher, I can imagine if I'm having a sad day, if I'm feeling sad because something has happened in my family, or I'm having a, tough time because something has happened personally to me, it's not easy for me to have a happy face in front of me. Somewhere I feel difficult to, manage my emotions. I feel sad. Even sometimes my students would find out. But still, how would I carry myself? How would I perform well in that space? To know that, have boundaries between these personal and professional spaces. Knowing that, you can't always have a happy day in front of you. Sometimes you will want to be happy, but things around you, people around you are there to spoil your mood. So not being vulnerable, but then no, you can be vulnerable, but then knowing what emotions you're going through and managing them, that's more important. Sometimes we don't even understand the emotion we have for that day. And this all comes with self-reflection. So before hitting your bed, at least every day, you take 5 minutes to just see how was the day for you. Just talk to yourself, or just maybe take some time to think, reflect, and meditate. What were the emotions you went through? Overall, how was the day? Did it go well? Anything different happen? Anything you felt, did you notice something which stayed in your mind? Any conversations? Anything that you watched? Anything that you read? All this has to happen every day. That way, it'll also help you to clear your thoughts for that particular day, and you go to bed and you wake up energized, refreshed for a new day. Handling stress and conflict, that's, I think I've had many sessions with stress and conflict only. Though I'm a literature student, I did my postgraduate diploma in counseling and psychotherapy, which really made me, I had a lot of interest in psychology as well. So that really made me understand how important it is to learn certain things. Psychology, I think, is important for everyone, irrespective of whatever field we are in. And resilience, building resilience and coping techniques to manage stress and conflict is important. And these days, everyone suffers at it, not just students. I think even teachers, I think any profession demands a lot of work, which will end up lack of balancing work and personal life. That will end up in stress, conflicts in relationships, personal relationship as well as professional relationship. And all this will impact our personality also. If you're not able to handle stress, we're always appearing nervous, anxious, not able to manage time. That will show in the way that you carry yourself. Probably you're rushing through meetings, you're not able to share your thoughts, communicate properly. All this is because of accumulated stress. You're not handling emotions properly. All this will be shown out in the way that you really reflect and talk or reach out to people. So self regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills, all this falls under emotional intelligence. Staying calm during an argument, that again shows how EQ really works. Many examples I can keep giving. And sometimes even for teachers, managing a class itself will become such an hectic job, maintaining discipline within a classroom environment. And for students, they also have their own stress, right? Managing other subjects. Sometimes lecturers or teachers become a stress for them. They become really tough on them. So all this, each one will have their own set of people who cause stress for them. But then how you handle it, how you cope with it, and how you resolve the conflicts in such relationships are very important. And always be ready to seek out for help. That's very important. I think many problems can be solved if you really know that you can show yourself as a person who will be willing to take help. I know some of the students won't be willing to take help even if they are struggling. Even working professionals will not be willing to take help. They are worried about the stigma. What will people think if I say that, I'm suffering from this particular problem? I'm going through this emotional pain. It's sometimes just sharing your pain. You just find a space or a platform where you share your thoughts, then you think, half the burden is reduced. And I think these days, a lot of psychological help is available even in online. I think even the mental health care system itself is being revolutionized these days. You can just check out on all that and see where help is available. I think even many organizations do it at a free of cost. Therapies are available. So this is something that you can always take a look into if help is needed in your emotional realm. Adaptability and flexibility, ability to adjust to new situation, environment, and challenges in a very fast changing world. So you should be able to adapt, you should be able to learn and make yourself not rigid but flexible in embracing perspectives from different viewpoints, always being open to learning and changes. Remember, change is the only thing that's constant, right? So sometimes what you learned, as I kept telling you in the previous session, be ready to unlearn and relearn. Integrity and values, these help a long way when you maintain certain integrity in the way you deal with work, in the way you deal with people. People will know immediately, even if you're not there in the room. If your name is mentioned, they'll know that this person is a hard worker, this person always completes the task properly, manages time properly. People will start, of course there will be people who will be finding faults. I'm saying, exceptions are there, but then you will be known for your values, the way you really go ahead and do things, right? Because you are a person who can be trusted and respected. You stand by your values, you reflect strong moral character, right? So all these things matter a lot. You live by these values and integrity throughout your profession, not just your profession, throughout your life, it starts reflecting on your personality. And a person who's focused on his or her development definitely has goals. And it doesn't end with just finishing college or getting a job and I'm done with it. No more goals in my life. No, they have a goal. They'll have personal goals. Probably even with a job, they would still want to explore more in their free time. Probably want to write a book, publish something, want to, learn a artwork, want to perform something, interested in learning a new skill. All this is a goal. In a year, probably when you have resolutions, when you take resolutions, you will have to have some new goals to make the year interesting and to know that you're going to learn something new or improvise on something that you've already learned. So having clear goals gives you direction to your life. This personal and professional growth has to happen simultaneously. Sometimes people are so much caught in their professional life, they don't focus on their personal lives at all. Lack of balance between personal and professional life is something that I really have people, coming and talking to me, asking my suggestions. And honestly, even I am someone who still, I'm trying my best to strike a balance between both. It's not easy. And especially for women, all the more difficult, I would say. But then you need to find ways where there are days when you can't really give yourself fully for your family. There are days you can't really focus on the profession, but it's fine. Not being too harsh on yourself, but just understanding that you are running a race in your own pace. And, at the end, you should feel satisfied. Your inner self should say, yes, you've done your best. You've done, you are pushing boundaries. That voice you need to hear, and that's enough. Sometimes people will have their own levels and they'll start matching your abilities with that level. Sometimes you might end up comparing yourself with other people. All this will happen as we keep traveling in this journey. But no, your life is different. Again, as I say, you're unique, your situation is different. So probably if you're going to do less also, in your situation it's considered more. So don't compare, just keep moving ahead with personal set of goals and always try to balance it with your personal and professional experiences, your personal and professional goals that you have. So motivation, keep yourself motivated. I would say not every day it's possible to have high levels of motivation, but do activities, probably reading books or listening to songs, which will keep you energized. So both your short term and long term plans have to be focused. Whatever you're planned in a particular year or in a particular set of days that you really want to do something, ensure that you complete them. When you finish that, it gives you it gives you a dopamine hit, right? Yes, I have done it. I was able to do it in spite of all the delays. So you will feel happy to, that achievement or that little win will definitely motivate you to go ahead and set another goal and complete another task. So social skills and interpersonal relationships, they are definitely skills needed to interact effectively with others. As I told you, it's a part of your communication skill. So we are in a web of communication and we need to know how we to interact with people effectively, not just interact, but do it efficiently. How to reach out. And for that, public speaking skill is very important. We have done a lot of discussions on that already. Yes, even in an organization, you need to be a good team player, teamwork, empathy, and cooperation, because you can't perform, even if you have to, any role that you play, you can't do it in an isolated way, right? You need to work with teams, you need to work with people, different people. So ensure that you have your own values, which will make you more approachable so that people will find it easy to work with you. Building strong networks, leadership, collaboration. Already I've mentioned about that. Continuous learning and self improvement. And that's the key, I think, the core area that we are really hitting on today for our personality development is learning continuously, lifelong learning and improving yourself. There's always room for improvement because the world keeps growing rapidly. Even the area of your interest, the field that you are in, it keeps changing rapidly. So keep yourself updated, stay current with the trends that's going on. And even if you're done with your subject area improvement, there's always language improvement that you can do, because that also reflects on your personality. Especially your English language improvement is very, very important, irrespective of you belonging to any discipline. Because from literature background, I'm not saying this. We all know English is a working language for us. So communicating in English language fluently, developing that command of the language is really important for building a strong personality. Because someone who makes error while talking or stutters, stammers, who's not able to use proper words, as I told you, I think in the previous session, that we are not native speakers of English language. We tend to make a lot of mistakes, and we have to learn a lot in terms of pronunciation, in terms of translation, in terms of using different words, enriching our vocabulary. All this has to happen. So someone who uses language confidently, especially English language, we know that that person has a strong personality because they've mastered the language. Again, I would say mastering doesn't come to a completion. Again, the vocabulary keeps changing, keeps improving, keeps developing. So constantly you need to catch up with that as well. So language improvement is a huge thing that you can really pick up and start doing if you're looking to improvise on yourself, if you want to really come with that strong personality. And once you start focusing on your language improvement, your confidence level, everything will start building up. Again, as I'm uh, treating, I would say all these are interconnected. As I give my speech, as I'm delivering my sessions itself, you can see how I'm, bringing in different points that I've discussed earlier, how I'm really tying the threads, right? So this will help you to understand how everything is interconnected. Yes, personality development is a lifelong process. Reading, observing, learning, listening. You can even take the LSRW skills I was talking about the other day, gaining new experiences and staying relevant and knowledgeable. And it encourages the growth mindset. These days, many people don't have this. Even students lack the growth mindset. Again, it's like just living for the sake of living. When I ask them, like what kind of goals you have for my students, most of them are very lethargic. They're like, ma'am, just this day is over. If I'm just able to complete my internal exam, I'll be happy. If I'm pass in this semester, I'm thinking that's more than enough. You're asking me what is your growth mindset. You're asking me what is the other skill I want to learn. And sometimes I understand students' mentality with all the distractions that they really go through in that precarious age. But still, there are many students who stand out because they don't consider just clearing the exams as the bare minimum. They really branch out, they look into other opportunities. Sadly, this kind of a mindset is also prevalent amidst adults, I would say, who are just satisfied with the jobs they do. With probably even academicians are like that. They just publish papers, for the sake of doing it because their institution demands, and they're just done with few things because it is demanded, it is needed in the as a part of their paperwork. They just have to show it in their profile, and the passion is hugely missing. The passion to grow, to improve the self is missing. It's just done for the sake of surviving, basically the survival mode. And that shows a lot of difference. I think these people will remain in the invisible domain till the end of their lives because they don't really want to come out of that comfort zone. Once you want to be visible, there is like the whole world keeps going and we all stand in different situations. It's our choice to either be invisible and just settle down, like with our own, with whatever talents we have, without focusing on improvisation, without focusing on enhancing. But when we have passion, when we want to really do something, we become visible. Not that you intentionally become visible, you will be noticed. And I think when you keep moving ahead, platforms will open for you to establish your knowledge, to establish who you are. And that's when your personality will also be reflected. Your personality will also be standing out. That will also help you out to show what kind of a character you are. So that's very important, and growth mindset plays an important role in that. Someone who's without a growth mindset can't really have a strong personality. That's something that I have noticed from my own experience in academia. Managing time efficiently is very, very important. I think the stress, the conflicts, the struggle that I was talking about in the earlier slides, it all comes with the lack of prioritizing which is important and when it has to be done. So you need to have your own timetable where you'll have to manage your time, your schedule, creating a daily routine schedule, avoiding procrastination. It happens sometimes you push certain work to the end and then really struggle to complete it, and we burn the midnight oil. It's not easy. It impacts our mental health also. So balancing work, hobbies, relaxation, everything is important. I think when you manage time properly, at least for a week, you're able to start planning efficiently. It helps a long way. Time management is a part of your self-discipline routine. So someone who's not able to count how much time they're really spending on different activities, they're really missing out a lot because sometimes we tend to get distracted, probably with media, social media. It happens, right? When we take our phone, we don't know how much time just goes in with the load of information that we are engaging every day. So having a timer and checking that you don't give so much time for any activity that just requires little amount of time, not just crossing that amount, that level is very important. And ensuring you have your self improvement time also in your daily schedule is very important. And as I told you even in the beginning, personality definitely focuses on your appearance and grooming, very important. Dressing neatly, carrying yourself with confidence, using, you should know, how to carry yourself, be comfortable in the dress that you wear, maintaining personal hygiene and the confidence level. Everything comes with the way you carry yourself. So I think this is very important. We have a lot of courses where grooming classes are undertaken, because if you're not comfortable with the way you dress, with the way you, whatever things you wear, how far you will be able to exhibit the confidence, that will be very less, right? And you should know how, what kind of dress you have to wear for a professional environment, how to carry yourself, what kind of accessories, makeup, all this definitely helps in the long run to build your personality. And generally there are many things that you can follow, and to improve the personality on a daily basis. Reading, I think I've spoken about this extensively during our public speaking skills. Reading improves your language, expands your thinking, your perspectives, and your vocabulary, thinking ability, and also emotional maturity, right? Improve communication skills, practice speaking skills daily, debates, discussions for students. Watch good speakers, have role models, and try to watch them and learn from them, and develop positive mindset. All negative thoughts, replace it with positive ones. Practice gratitude. Do little activities like journaling or engaging in an artwork, something that would make you feel, give you that peace, make you feel that you are in a calm zone, right? And failure is something to, already I've spoken about. It's not the opposite. Don't take it as a binary opposite of success. Take it as a part of success. No one can just really climb the ladder just like that. It's a lot of lessons, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, which really takes you to that level. So don't be afraid of failures. So embrace it, learn from it. It's okay to take help, seek help, and always reach out to people. You will find people who are ready to help you, mentor you, and guide you. Practice a disciplined routine, probably waking up early, not sleeping late. All this is basic that we know, which is good for health as well. Staying consistent in all the habits that you really want to, that you invite in your life to improve your lifestyle. Body language, yes, that's very important. Maintaining eye contact, being approachable, having warm and welcoming body language, smile, standing straight. If you are in an environment where you're reaching out to many people, remember people are watching you. So body language plays a huge role in really giving you the reflecting on who you are as a person. So your personality will be reflected in that. Surrounding yourself with positive people, make sure you are in an environment which gives you a lot of motivation. Take care of your health, and sometimes it's not just the emotional health that I'm talking about, also your physical health, right? It's always not exercising your brain, your mind, also exercising your body, which is very important. Sometimes I feel, in academia, I know colleagues, as I told you even in the beginning, they're really not focused on their health at all. It's like I could see them struggling to, maintain a proper healthy lifestyle. They say they don't have time for hitting the gym or whatever it is. But when you do a lot of exercise, when you eat healthy, when you focus on your personal health, sleeping, for 7 to 8 hours, focusing on your balanced diet, all this, it's going to reflect on your personality. Because you, to have a strong personality, you should be healthy, right? You should have the energy to carry forward yourself in that particular day, because the day is demanding. It takes a lot of challenges. Your day is quite packed. The routine, right? So ensure that you maintain a good health to run your race properly. Learning new skills like public speaking, writing, and equipping yourself with digital skills, which is really important for this, in the times that we are in. And skills make your personality more valuable. So the more you learn, the more new things that you learn, the more equipped you are to face the world. Building good relationships. Once you have a strong personality, you make meaningful friendships, relationships within your personal and professional sphere, and learning to respect people's opinion, embracing different perspectives, and that gives a opportunity for you to network with other people at professional and personal level. So with this, I'm almost coming to the end of my session. Personality development is not about being someone else. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. You're not competing with anyone else, but you are seeing for yourself how far you can do best in this particular, probably in academic or in profession or in personal life. Overall, I would say this life being just the one chance given to you, why don't you push the boundaries and see what are you capable of doing? Sometimes only when you do something, you'll understand you have that skill at all. Unless you break that fear, Unless you push that boundary, unless you come out of that comfort zone, you will never know what you're capable of. And I think great personalities have always shared this kind of that's their lesson they share from their own life. No one says that, yes, I was born without the fear of speaking, or I was born without any fear. I was born with a lot of confidence. No one says this. Every time, probably a good speaker, if you see, they're really talking well, they have a strong personality. Remember how many times they would have failed in front of people, how many times they would have been mocked, how many times they would have struggled with self confidence. But then the only difference is they didn't stop, they didn't give up. They just kept moving ahead, trusting and having a positive mindset and learning. So remember, daily improvement, daily routine matters. As you all know, little drops make big ocean, huge ocean. Little changes in your lifestyle makes a greater impact. And your thoughts shape your personality, and your personality shapes your destiny. And personality is your greatest asset. And invest in it daily. It's worth investing. You should know what you are capable of. I believe everyone has a hidden talent. Probably, I do this with my students. I tell them, just find out what you're really talented at. Don't tell me. When I ask them to introduce themselves, this happens. I ask them, talk about the 5 strengths you have, 5 good qualities or strengths or talents that you have. I know many of them come and say that I don't have any strength, I don't have any talents, nothing. It's not nothing. They haven't realized it so far. They haven't given time to assess that or even explore that. So sometimes, even with adults, it's like we just go with the flow. We just travel with life as it is without really knowing what we are good at, and what we can really excel at. So, with this, I would like to end my session with a powerful quote here. Knowing others is intelligent, knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. So, personality development gives you a lot of power because you're mastering yourself, you're knowing yourself a lot in the process of this journey. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Wonderful presentation, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You have addressed all the dimension of personality development. We are so happy. So thank you so much for your enlightening session.
Thank you, ma'am. My pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Dear participant, if you have any question, unmute and ask to the ma'am.
Okay, I think Drishti ma'am has something. You should, yes, I really understand this, ma'am, because I've been through the same situation. Very relatable. Uh, doesn't mean that you have a problem, I would say. It involves technique, right? Not just knowing your subject or your sound subject knowledge and experience alone. That's like 90% yes. But engaging the students by giving, translating that knowledge into meaningful and engaging activities, and ensuring that they are, you try your best to at least involve 90% of the class into the particular hour, or probably the 40 or 45 minutes you are working with them. So that is a huge challenge, right? And as you asked me in the previous session also, students get bored if it's just the content that's being delivered. But then you need to come up with some interesting activities that would keep them engaged in a positive way, so that discipline classroom discipline won't be a problem. Usually students get distracted if they lose interest, and something or the other which would really, you should know what will really make them interested. Once they start getting that interest, they start involving themselves completely in that session. I think discipline wouldn't be a problem. Usually the distraction only makes them talk with each other or use their mobile phones or things like that. So it shouldn't be considered as something. Don't take it as a problem in the personal development. That is a very it gives a very negative connotation here. You can always have a way to work out. And one personality you have to develop as a teacher is to be strong, and not every day. And even I've suffered with classes, where I had to raise my voice, top of my voice. I have to go and shout at them. Sometimes I lose control. In spite of knowing about all this that I'm lecturing, because we are human at the end, and we tend to, it's okay. You shouldn't be harsh on yourself and say there's a problem with me. It's fine. But then not just going with the problem, but seeing what potential solutions you can come for that. Just making them involved is one suggestion I can give you. See which activities, as I told you, I mentioned about some videos and YouTube things, that will make them involved. And again, 100% involvement is also not possible, but at least 90% you try. So the way, again, it will be a learning journey for the teacher, I would say. It's a new learning, right? You just try, go with, see what would really work out. Once you know for this particular class, this is the way you need to deal with them. I think you will have an knack of it, and that will be a new learning for the teacher itself. And you can say that way you have also improved yourself, which can be, you can turn that so far, then the problem in whatever you consider in your personal development as a solution, and as something that, as a learning experience for the teacher. I hope that answers your question, huh?
Any other question? Really, your words reminded me my own journey, ma'am. Really, I did my PhD in women entrepreneurship. I have written a lot of articles regarding that. But one
Okay.
article I written, the women entrepreneurship traits. I want to know how they are handling their problems and struggles. So I asked one question to the newly started women entrepreneur. When problem or situation arising against you, how will you handle that kind of situation? Really, she smiled and replied me, every situation, everything happening for my goodness, I'm ready to learn from that situation. It's a really, I
That's the
shocked.
spirit. That's
Yes,
the spirit, because that's what exactly I'm trying to say. You can't run away from problems. You can't run away from challenges. Of course, these are the things that's going to make our life interesting at all. This is what is going to make us grow. If challenges are not there, how are we going to even grow? And in the present generation, even with students, I see this mentality. I don't want challenges. I want everything happening in a smooth pace.
yes, yes.
And
It's
even
not
adults,
possible. Yes, yes,
the
ma'am.
more the
It's
challenges are, and I think victorious people will tell you, successful people will tell you, it's the challenges that made them who they are,
yes,
not
everything happening for my goodness. I'm ready to learn from that
yes,
situation. It's a really
yes,
wonderful. I shocked. Really, her age will be 26 to 27.
yeah,
That is
too
a
young, but
great.
they've learned a lot. Yeah,
Yes, yes, ma'am. That's what the positive attitude will give energy. Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
yes, that's what we discussed in the session.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you have covered all the areas. EI also, compared to AI, EI is an important. Yes,
Yeah,
that
but
would.
I think I have had sessions where EI alone will go for 1 hour, but we'll see in future we can come up with such sessions
Yes, yes, ma'am.
to
Yes,
detailed
yes.
explanations. Yeah,
Emotional intelligence is most important for our peacefulness also. Yes,
yes, yes,
yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. Shall we wind up the session?
yes, yes, we can continue tomorrow. Sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, dear participant. Tomorrow we have the final day, so we will provide the feedback link to you. Thank you so much for all.